What's going on? Sorry, we've had some technical difficulties, so we're going to give this another shot. Ryan, how are you?
Good, dude. It was all my fault.
You didn't have to say that. We started fresh. They would have never known. Could have blamed it on me. Let me just kind of introduce you again, and why I'm really excited about this interview and you in particular. We met on Play to Win, and we share a lot of common interests. You've got a trip coming up next year that I'm insanely jealous of and planning on joining you, which is diving with the sharks. And you are not a network marketer by trait. You were actually a corporate businessman who then made the transition. Why don't you explain that a little bit to my crowd? Let them know a little bit of your story, your wife, your three boys, and just by way of introduction.
Cool. Name's Ryan Pinnell, 42 years old, live down in South Florida, originally from the DC area. Got sick of the rat race up there. I was working with, Fortune 500 companies, Ricoh, Segway, and stuff like that, and was building some large departments for businesses. My buddy asked me one day, "Hey, what are you going to do when this thing goes? I mean, what's your plan B?" And at that time, I was like, "What the heck are you talking about?" I mean, we're running close to a $20 million division, and rocking and rolling, sales are kicking. 90 days after that,
Oh, wow.
I found myself sitting in a boardroom, signing off a lot of intellectual right patents and stuff like that I wouldn't talk about. And it made me think, man, that kid was right. And I didn't have a plan B. I thought we were fine. I had a pregnant wife at the time and two boys, Walker and Wyatt, and kind of left me hanging. So I went to the competitor, did that for 60 days, and said, "This is not where I want to be in my life." So I broke off, opened a bottling company who manufactures some of the best seltzer in the world. We're based here in Florida. But at the same time, I also found a passion of helping others grow businesses. And that's how I got into the network marketing industry, actually. I got into it by two things. I had always been, as an entrepreneur or a small business owner, you don't have the camaraderie or the rah-rah or the push on. If you own your own business, you got to be the axis for that. And I found for a long time, before even really doing anything in the industry, I used it as more of a mentoring program just to keep me level-headed and being
Mm,
around like-minded people. I mean, whatever company you're in, I think you'll attest to it. There's
yeah.
good people in the industry. Like you'll make some of the best friends ever. But I kind of used it more as a mentorship to help me catalyst my other companies that we're involved with. And now we're 10 years later. We've built a pretty good little business. We had our pitfalls this year, like a lot of guys did, but we're rebuilding and enjoying it more than ever. So where I'm
Wow.
at today.
Yeah, and you also have your own podcast, which is Network Freaking Marketing, right? Did I say
Radio.
that right?
Yeah, network freaking
Radio.
marketing. Yep.
Yeah. So, you've got a wide assortment of skill sets and you bring something very different to the table. And when we met on the show, that was one of the things that really put you on my radar was that you had this background and you're in network marketing. And I think, so often that people think of network marketing as some sort of thing when you can't
Pyramid?
get someone to have a
Pyramid?
job. What's that?
I said it's a pyramid.
Yeah.
I think it's
And,
funny.
you know, and just when you meet people like yourself who were in the corporate world and still are in the corporate world, and here you are building something on the side for a second, maybe third, fourth stream of income, I think it really lends some credibility to what we're trying to accomplish. And your heart of helping other entrepreneurs and business owners, and you do that coaching. I mean, that's a pretty interesting story.
You know, if if leaders are going to cultivate leaders in this business, and we've talked with on the show some of the biggest names, multi-million dollar players that have built massive coaching programs, both on this side of the pond and the other. But there's one commonality: is you got to be willing to want to help people. And here's a true story: I wasn't that person originally. I was very selfish. Even in like my own companies today, it's hard for me to release the reins to people because we're not on the same mindset. What's beautiful about network marketing is you're only in control of what you do. You can't force other people to do it, but you can
Yeah.
nurture them, and you can't leave. What is it? You can't leave a horse to water if it doesn't drink or something like that. There's some analogy like that. But the industry is so much like that to where it helps you to broaden your horizons and become more of a people person and to not just think about me. It's more we type mentality. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's fun.
Speaking of coaching, how long have you actually known Ray and Rank Makers?
Oh, let's think here. I known of Ray for probably about 10 years because I've been in
Oh,
the industry.
wow.
So utilized rank makers. I think I got in rank makers. I originally got in rank makers for material because I found a lot of his stuff, the coaching that he was doing, it was a different thought pattern than what is taught in the industry. I think our industry needs a wake up call on how to train people that this is a real sales job. And if you treat it professionally and stop talking about, hey, you're going to make $1 million overnight, it's going to lend a lot more credibility to what we do. And if you teach them, hey, it's just like selling, I don't care if you're selling tanning lotion or if you're selling supplements or travel like yourself. If they
Yeah.
follow the steps to any sales product, they're going to be successful. Every one of them would be. But we have all this over bloated, I'm going to bullshit that's in the industry that paints kind of a bad light in there. So I started really listening to Ray's stuff and it resonated. We were on the same axis. Him and I think, are a lot alike in a lot of things we do. And so I was like, I'll give it a shot. So I signed up for Rank Makers and I really got intrigued by what he has. He had some good material to kind of make you think differently and, teach and reteach. You get a lot of that stuff. So we were using it for that originally. And then I started practicing a lot of what he was talking about. And that led to me seeing an open casting call. And I'm like, what do you have to lose? I mean, it was kind of like a joke. If any, I never did show, I don't think I ever did show my interview thing. My wife was like so ticked off I was doing that. She's like, I don't have time for this today. But, lo and behold, we got a call a couple of weeks later. Say, hey, we want to do this. I'm like, all right, what do you have to lose? It'll be fun.
Yeah. So how long have you actually been a part of Rank Makers?
Now probably about 14 months.
Okay. All right. So you've had some time. And, again, you're in a different position because you're already coaching. But what do you think the number one lesson that you've really taken from Ray or the Rank Makers and applied into business, whether that be the traditional model or if that's, network marketing?
I think there's a couple things. The utilizing digital strategy, okay, digital marketing or Facebook or whatever. There's an art to doing it. I think he simplifies a very complex pool. Okay, there's so many people that get out there and get into online marketing, thinking throwing things up with Facebook and all that stuff, and don't understand how to do it correctly. Even if you've been doing it a long time, it changes so quickly. He does a very good job of taking the complex and making the average successful in a very, very difficult industry. To build online it's hard. It's hard to build a brand and to build attraction and stuff like that. And he does a very, very good job of inspiring and coaching the masses to do something that's highly, highly complex.
Yeah, he really does. He's a great coach where he really breaks things down to the simplest level. And,
And
like I tell people,
copy is some of the best in the industry. What I mean by copy, the platforms and the messaging and stuff like that, it is very, very duplicatable, which is a key to our business because you need to be able to teach everything you learn to the next person. I mean, I was a true story. Before we got into Rank Makers, we had fell into the funnel mixes, I called. I did a podcast on it about 2 weeks ago of we're using X funnels. I'm not going to name any names on here, and we had gotten into all this lead gen stuff. And I'm like, I took 3 weeks off and I forgot how everything worked. I'm like, I'm done with this. I mean, you can see the
Right.
website's all changed. I'm like, we went back to the basics. So it just tells you, don't get caught up. There's so much noise in the marketplace today. Stick to your guns. Stick to the basics of what Bray teaches in your upline and stuff like that. The mix of the two together are a very lethal combination for success.
Yeah. Yeah. So, being that you have such a diverse background, what was it about the show that had you applying?
Well, I wanted to get into the speaking industry. The truth is, and I had known from doing research that, well, there was two things. The Higdon Group at that time was looking for a sales manager to take over a large division for them. I don't know if you guys knew about that or not going into the show, but there was that, and then there was also a large speaking positions that they were looking for, and that is something that I wanted in my career set to push into, to kind of like
Okay.
really see if I could do it on a large scale. So it kind of gave me the drive to give it a shot, and it's a good way to get your name noticed in front of some people that are already in that game. So I was like, it could be the ultimate job interview going in at it.
Hmm.
COVID threw a big wrench in a lot of people's plans. So.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it really did. So you were on True Day One. You know what and I'm calling my Day One Alpha. But you were on True Day One. You guys load up on that van on Sunday morning. It's a long drive, 30, 45-minute drive across Fort Lauderdale. As you're looking around the room, what's going through your head?
You're measuring everybody up. I mean, you're squaring up everybody, trying to figure out. You know what it makes you feel like? You know, if my wife watches The Bachelor all the time, and it's always on in the background, you know, and I get sucked into watching it because the girls are kind of hot, you know, but yeah, and I'm sitting there in that van, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? I'm really doing this," and it was just kind of funny. Like I was thinking back, I'm like, I wonder what this is. If this is what it's really like. So, you know, you're talking to because I don't think. I'm trying to think back. There was only one of the two guys. There was only like a couple of us guys. So first off,
Yeah.
we were on our own field. So it was the ladies involved and the other gentlemen. Everybody was top notch people, and it was
Right.
interesting to you're being friendly and nice, but you're also thinking, okay, I'm going to be your nemesis, so get ready.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I think grand total there was maybe 10 guys total, right?
I don't even think there was that many, was there?
So Kyle, Ryan, you, Ryan, the second Ryan. Then there was Gary, Paul, me. I already said Kyle. So maybe 6.
I zoned out. There wasn't many in the first group. There was only like 2 or 3 of us. You had a lot more in your group.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of yeah, okay. All right. I'll have to go back and actually look at the photos. Not that many guys. Marilyn says there wasn't even that many guys. So maybe 6 to 8 of us total. Man, okay. So, you know, you're looking around the room. You're kind of sizing people up. Did you know anybody in day one?
Well, I only knew Kelly because when I came in on, I guess it was Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, whatever night we got there first. Her room was a couple doors down, and I said hello when I was going out to get some dinner. And that's the only person that I you know, if people know me really, I kind of stick close to my own guns.
Right. Now, did you know anybody in day one alpha? I'm just trying to see if people actually knew who each other was before the show really started. No, you didn't know anybody. Yeah, that was the same for me. I didn't know anybody. And so as you're looking around the room, and it might not have been on your day one, it might have been on, you know, day 2. Who did you really think was going to be the biggest threat to you winning the show?
I thought Kelly was going to be an adversary. I could see right in from before I saw day 2 who we were going up against. Kelly was probably the one I was going to say, hey, okay, she's the one to watch.
Okay. Now, quite a few people picked Kelly. She's a little spark plug.
Oh yeah, she's a very, very, very smart young lady.
Yeah. So, kind of an easy one. What do you think for you was your favorite moment on the show? And, don't give away any major plot details, but out of everything that transpired in that week, what do you think was your favorite moment?
Famous favorite moment. I think when you got through the day before the final day, the the semifinals, I guess we could call it. That was kind of a breath area. I was
Yeah.
there to make it to the end, no matter what, and I had gone there and accomplished what I said I was going to do. So it was kind of like, okay, I'm this far, and let's just see what happens.
Yeah. That was a pretty fun day. So,
Yeah.
out of everything, and I think I know this just because you and I have talked in the background a little bit. What was the most nerve-wracking experience for you on the show?
Oh man, it becomes kind of like a blur especially after 3 or 4 months. It's probably been even longer than that. The most nerve-wracking, probably the finals. That last 10. Let's put it this way. What is the right word? It makes for good entertainment.
Yeah.
The time when I'm there, the very end when I'm there is, I think, one of the most memorable times.
Yeah, it was, man. That was a flurry too.
Yeah,
Like
but you know what else
crazy.
was? It was very, very emotional. I think I even said this on the show. It's kind of like being at your convention. If you've ever gone to your convention, it's usually heavy, heavy emotion, and it really makes you kind of like step back and know that, man, I've got my shit, but people got a lot of shit too.
Yeah.
And to know that there's so much that people have to go through in life to make it to where they're at today. And that's probably, that's probably my biggest takeaway from the show, is just seeing how and amazing how much people can grow very fast in a short period of time if they're willing to push all the chips in and be vulnerable.
Yeah. I'll tell you, that vulnerability piece on the show was, I think, powerful for everybody, and all of us had to deal with it. They caught a great shot of you crying. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, they got me. What's funny is how that line is edited what I actually said.
Yeah. That always happens. So, and you kind of answered it. The vulnerability was one of the, I think, for everybody, one of the greatest lessons that we learned on that show. And, when I interviewed Ray, he really brought that up. The difference between season 1 and season 2 is season 2 really delved into character development for everybody. And I mean, they were hitting all of us. Like, it didn't matter who you were.
Closed environment. I don't think there's anyone on that show that made it that far that didn't have a tear. If you didn't, you're the most uncompassionate person I could imagine.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, there was definitely a lot of that going on. And I mean, it was really emotionally intense. I think everybody that was on the show would agree. They were just, I don't know how they did it on camera, but they really put us in positions that elicited a lot of emotional response and made us dig deep into our own junk.
Well, we all carry it, and a lot of us unloaded some stuff, and it's unfortunately it's a part of life that we all go through.
Yep.
There's no sugarcoating it, making it easy for anybody. Yeah. But it helps to know that other people go through stuff too.
So, what do you think changed most for you since the show filmed?
Well, what hasn't changed since the show?
Yeah. I mean, outside of the externals, I mean, just for you personally, what do you think has really changed?
Probably not much, to be honest. I'm pretty upbeat dude, and I've kind of taken a little different approach to working with people that I bring on board. I'm a little bit more, if you don't see what's going on, kind of like move to the side because we're building a team. If you're not going to be part of the team, then
Right.
you'll find it at your own pace. I can only do so much for you. I was
Yeah.
enabling a lot with a lot of people, and like people are like, I need this, I need that. And it's like, come on, really? And
Yeah.
and weeding through to find the gems and finding the guys that want to run and build a business. There's plenty of pill poppers or whatever you want to call them out there.
So the trailer releases, and other than the great picture I got of you, what'd you think of the trailer?
You should see what my buddies did to me.
Yeah, right. You told me about that.
Yeah. So they slowed down each shot, and they're like, the stupid mimes that dance and stuff. They're sending me this stuff every day, messing with me all the time. So I was just talking to one of my coaches that I work with, and his name's Scott Aaron. He's with LinkedIn. He's really good at what he does. And he's like, what was it like to be on board? Because they cut this thing up. I'm like, it's really going to be interesting to see after the first episode.
Yeah.
We'll see where it really is going to go. Because have you heard how many episodes they're going to cut it down to, or have we heard it? Or?
It's going to be 5, and I think the 5th episode will be a little bit longer. Hey, give me 1 second.
Sure.
You good to go?
I'm still gotta wait for this.
Okay, all right.
To lock on. I can't mess with your.
Yeah. That's fine.
I would if
I'll fix it once you're done.
Fix policies.
Sure. Okay, cool. They're fixing my Wi-Fi, so.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's I got a big laugh when you were telling me about your buddies and what they did with, because that's totally what all my Army buddies would have done.
Oh, they're just totally gonna mess with you. It's like one just, literally calls me like 8:00 every morning. It just like someone dying laughing, and that's all he does every day. Just calls us. He's like my best friend. So, but it's gonna be good to see where they. Because they can create some unique plots.
I've been very
one of them, bro. So what they're gonna do, they're gonna do. I'm like, I have no skeletons in the closet, so let's go.
Yeah, I'm like you. I've really gotten to the place where I've started asking the question of how. You've got 5 episodes, so you got 5 hours for 200 hours of footage.
Yeah.
Right? We were filming for 12 hours a day times 5 days times 6 days, actually.
And how many different cameras running all the time?
Yeah. So, you're looking at, like just hundreds of hours, and you've got to tell the story, for whoever made the finals. You've got to find a way to arc all that into everything else that's going on. And the contestants who make it to the last day, and you've got to give them a little bit of the story too. So in 5 hours, incredible. So
I'm just interested to see how they do it. So it'll be very, very unique. I'm looking forward to Thursday night.
I'm so looking forward to Thursday night. Obviously, I think based on your conversation, you're not nervous about the release, are you?
Yeah, it's what is. What I know what they have. So it's not like they don't have. You already got me crying, so go ahead.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, they already got that great shot. Like you're like.
It's funny. There's one scene there. It was on Jessica's page, and I didn't even realize because I was the first one to go through that where we all got wet. You can tell.
Yeah,
we can say that. I didn't know they had a damn sprinkler above my head.
Yeah, I think they removed that after you.
It was way up. I didn't even see it when I come in. So I sat down. I think they put that behind me or something. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, that was really funny. That was definitely a funny day for sure. So I want to just share about this for a little bit. So you're a scuba diver. You do a lot of stuff out in the ocean. And next year, What's the big reveal for you?
We're planning to try to go to either. We're trying to get down to South Africa and do some shark diving.
Now, why did you pick South Africa instead of Guadalupe?
I've been friends with Allison Towner on Facebook for a couple years now. We've exchanged some emails and stuff, and she's one of the foremost. If you watch Discovery Channel, she's one of the foremost biologists that does all that kind of stuff out there. And I was like, give me some guides to go out with and really, cage free. Let's do it the right way if we're going to do it. Because I've been to the Bahamas and done all that stuff before, and was really interested to head down there. But what I'm finding is, believe it or not, Florida is starting to get a decent white shark population.
Really?
So I might be able to find some stuff out here. Believe it or not, yeah, probably within 45 minutes of my house, I'm finding out.
Wow.
So they're starting to get some migratory patterns here. So we're looking at maybe doing that. But Guadalupe Islands, the other reason I want to go out there, or South Africa, is the whale sharks are huge there. And that's always something I've always wanted to either free dive or dive along with and see.
Yeah.
I've never
whale sharks, absolutely amazing, beautiful. I mean, worth it. Totally worth it. So, well, listen.
I've never been down there. South Africa intrigues me. So as long as you stay in the right areas in the coastal towns, I think.
Yeah. I have friends over there, so that's not a big deal.
We'll
get it figured out. Now, listen, I definitely want to go. So you got to
You're booking the travel, dude. You're booking the travel. I'm just going to send you my Amex. Hey, get it done. Here's the budget, baby.
Way less, you take care of the diving.
I'll bring the gear.
I'm going to have to figure it out. I'm going to have to get Patty certified before we go. So
you're not even certified yet.
No. So
we got some work to do.
Yeah, I've had my nose broke so many times, and I don't know, like
I thought for sure you'd be a diver with all the stuff you've done.
I just never have really gotten around to doing it, and, but I'm going to, because I want to do the dive with the great white.
Florida, man, we'll go to the Keys for a weekend or something, and you can knock it out in a weekend, and boom.
I'm in. You don't have to ask twice.
Yeah, it would be.
Now, you guys do
12-hour drive
all year long, right?
Oh yeah, I mean we have. Yeah, I mean the coldest it gets down as far south as I am is 77, 78.
For sure.
Not, but worst case scenario, we just hop on a flight and we're over in the Bahamas in 30 minutes, or get on one of my buddy's boats. He'll take us over there.
Yeah,
it's the border back up.
Boat, right?
Huh?
It's only 3 hours by boat, right? 3 or 4
I mean, I can leave Lake Worth and be across a mine to like Bimini in 3 hours, 2 hours. It depends on the tides.
So on the fear day, I remember you talking about diving with sharks, and man, I was just
funny is I actually have a fear of snakes, and I said it on the bus going in there. Somehow someone said, "You were in that bus, weren't you, that morning?" We're all talking like, "What's our fears and stuff?" And I'm like, "I have a fear of snakes." I mean, I don't really have a fear of snakes. I just don't like them. They're just weird to me. I was amazed at how strong they were.
There were people who got emails about it, like they had to answer questions about it.
Really?
And I never got that. I don't even remember who it was. Somebody was talking about it, where they were talking about their fears, and it was so funny because that morning, that was the conversation in the bus, and then lo and behold, as you saw.
Did anybody know it was Fear Day, or did Dave try
No,
to get that?
Huh. I don't think anybody knew.
Wow. It's just funny how it came up,
Yeah, that was super funny to me as well.
And it was just, I'm amazed at how much fear some people have.
Yeah.
Because does anything scare you? I mean, honestly.
Scare me?
Yeah, I mean, honestly. I mean, you know what scares me today, and I'll be honest with you. And this is when I see these large groups of people forming, like on some of these videos you watch right now, and they have just their eyesight. It's almost like they're taken over and just being outnumbered. I think that would cause me a little fear. I'm not afraid to take people on by any means, but I think when a crowd grows and one idiot throws a chair and it's going, I think then I might have to call you to teach me some stuff.
Yeah. just remember there's a reason why certain people say there's never a need for an assault rifle. And then there are others who go, there's always a need for an assault rifle. I think we're seeing right now that there's need for that.
It's such small amount, but the media makes it play out to these.
Right.
It happens every day everywhere in this country, and it's just a couple kids running around with cell phones and covering their faces up and acting tough. But
yeah, it's pretty crazy. Well, listen, Ryan, thanks for your time and coming on today. I really appreciate it. Can't wait to see you again and to see what's going on and start to hook up this great white trip and, just continue to kill it, man. Keep knocking it out of the park.
How's business for you? Doing good?
Yeah, like for me, things have been pretty stable, pretty consistent. I'm still traveling. Like, I'm not scared of the,
Either, man. We're out to dinner all the time. And
yep.
You guys know, you see my post. I'm the anti-mask guy.
Yeah, right. I've seen quite a few of them. And I wear it when I have to, like when I'm flying.
I do. When I go to the stores, I play by the rules, but I give everybody a hard time.
But I'm totally anti-mask too. Like, I don't even care. I'm like,
just watch what happens to November 3rd. It's all just going to go away in about 2 months. So.
Right. I would totally, the way things are going this year, I totally would not be surprised.
I was at a barbecue yesterday, and the guy's like, statistically, we get this, and this. And I'm like, okay, you might have a merit to what you're saying. I just thought it was funny as ever. But
yeah, right.
It's gonna be an interesting season to say the least. So.
For sure. All right, buddy. Well, you take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, brother. Be well.
4 seconds.